Welcome to CIST 1510. In Chapter 1, we're going to talk about Introduction to Web Programming. Today, we're going to look at the basic concepts behind creating a website. Our main focus will be concentrating on the HTML code, which stands for Hypertext Markup Language. So I'm going to show you a few examples on the screen as we go along. I want you to focus on what the different parts of HTML do and how they work together. So first thing is, when you create a website, we are going to require a few basic tools. First, we're going to need an editor for where we create our files. So I have two different editors on the screen here to show you the difference between the two. This editor that's on the screen now is Notepad. It's a basic text editor. You can write your code in here. I prefer using Notepad++. This is a free program you can download. In here, it gives it a little bit more stylized formatting for the code. It's a little bit easier to see. Another thing you can do is you can actually run this code as well. All kinds of different more settings, more options that you can use with Notepad++. You also need a browser such as Chrome, Firefox, Edge, Safari. The browser is going to read the HTML code and display it as a website. So we have an example of our code here, and I'm going to close out Notepad, and we'll concentrate on using Notepad++. So on the browser, you see the results of my code that is run here. Now, a couple of other things you'll need to create a website. You'll need a web hosting service. You'll need to be a file transfer program that allow you to transfer your files to the web server. You can also use a content management system, such as like WordPress is a popular one that will allow you to create your website in their browser, in their program. We're going to concentrate for this course on creating the page in a text editor and then uploading it to Blackboard. So 3 technologies that you're going to concentrate on in the first couple of courses in web design will be the HTML, which provides the structure and the content. CSS controls how the page looks. And then JavaScript will add behaviors and interactions to your site. We will concentrate on HTML this week, CSS later in this unit, in this course, and then JavaScript will be in your CIST 1520 course. All right, the first thing we'll look at is our tags. HTML uses those tags to identify different types of content. So, for example, in this, we'll see the HTML tag. Look at it here. Let me expand this here. We have HTML tags. We have a heading tag, a head tag, title tags, body tags, and different element tags throughout our document. So we have 2 types of basic HTML elements. And here you have a container element. Container elements are going to have an opening and closing tag, and the content's going to be between them. As we see, the heading, the H1 tags, the P's, the paragraph tags, those are going to be examples of container elements. A void element uses only one tag. Image and line breaks are examples of this. As we see in the example here, this is an image tag, and there is no closing tag. The HR, which is the just a line, that's also a void element. Then we look into the structure of HTML, we'll see that, and you'll see this through every website, the HTML is going to follow the same basic structure. We have our major parts, we have our doc top. It tells the browser that we're creating an HTML document. We have our HTML element that's going to surround the page. So we have an open and a close. And inside of that, we're going to have a head and a body. So we have a head section and the body section. The head section is going to contain information about the document, while the body is going to contain what people actually see on your website. So all of this is within the body. We'll also talk about how we can nest HTML elements within other elements. This is called nested elements. Now, elements need to be nested properly. So if one container starts it inside of another container, that inner container needs to close before the outer container closes. So for example, in here, we see that we have a paragraph tag. If I wanted to stress that your dog is your best friend, I may use a strong tag. And then I would want to make sure that I close that. So we'll see on the opening tags, we have our brackets and then the element that we're going to use. And we'll make this a little bit bigger here. So we have the strong element here. It says your dog is your best friend. Now, when I save this and refresh my browser, you'll see that now that text is now in bold. Now, the importance of making sure that you close your nested tags is if I don't close it, you'll see it's going to be applied throughout the rest of my document. So that's the importance of making sure that you have your nested tags closed properly. Now you'll see at the top here where it says Puppy Petter, that is the title. And the titles are going to go up in the head section. Like we said, the head contains information about the page, while the body contains the content the viewers see. So the title will go into the head section. It's also where you'll put the meta information up here as well. Now, meta elements, they're going to provide information about the document. This usually includes like the character set, the encoding, the author, description. You may see keywords up there that help search engines find what your page is looking for. Also, you'll see up here at the top the attribute of the language set in HTML. That helps search engines as well. So if you're looking for a page that's written in French, it may have an FR there, or Spanish, or whatever the language is the page is written. It'll help search engines find the correct page. Now, the HTML elements, these can also contain attributes. Attributes provide additional information about the element. So, for example, the image element here, it's got an attribute. First, this src. This is telling the browser what image to display. And if we look at our source, our files, we'll see that the Puppy Petter picture is stored here. So we open in the image tag and we say the src, the location. This is the image we want to place there. We put that information in, and then we give it an alt tag. The alt tag is for screen readers, for accessibility, in case this image doesn't load for some reason. Briefly, I'm going to remove that image from the folder. Let me delete that. And I'll show you an example of what happens when that image is not included with your files. So we see that you have the alt text here, the puppy petter picture. But you notice the image doesn't load. So this is something key. When you upload your files to Blackboard, you want to make sure that everything is contained in the folder that's going to be uploaded to me. This includes your images, any external style sheets that you will work on, all of your HTML files. This is basically you create your entire website in one folder and send that whole folder. Zip the folder up and send it to Blackboard. And we will go over how to do that as well. One thing with attributes also, you should make sure you put them inside quotation marks. You want to make sure it has a name and a value. And we'll see how these are written here. Now, a couple of the other elements we're going to talk about. So we've talked about the body element. This is where the user is going to see the information that's in that. So we'll look at a couple of these, like the P element here. This is the paragraph. This is used to create the paragraph and give it the formatting of a paragraph. The div element, you see the promo code is good until the month's end. It's located down here. It's a generic container for grouping content. Image element will contain the image. The HR element, you see we got it set here. That is creates a break. It's commonly displayed as a horizontal line, as we see on the image here. And then the BR element is for a break. So it gives that white space here and breaks it down to the next line. Hitting enter will not do that. Sometime the web page will do this automatically, depending on the size of the browser. The image may look different depending on how you have the browser sized. Then we're going to look a little bit at the CSS preview. Briefly, we see that we do have some CSS, and CSS is stands for Cascading Style Sheets. While HTML is going to be really concerned with the structure and the meaning of our context, the CSS is going to give it the style. It's going to change the appearance and how we control the appearance here. This is things that we can control, like the font, the color, the alignment, spacing, borders, just really our page layout. So just keep in mind that, right now, HTML is what the content is, and CSS is how it looks. This is stuff that we will cover a lot more in depth later chapters. Now, HTML has changed considerably since the first days of the web. There are standards that have been developed to make sure that our websites work consistently across different browsers and devices. A couple organizations you need to be aware of is the W3C and the WHAT-WG. They have played important roles in developing and maintaining our web standards. There's a couple things you can look at too when you want to check your tags, your webs. You can look at the W3 validator. So with the markup validation service, you got a couple things you can do here. Is you can validate a file by upload. You can copy and paste your code, or if you've already got it uploaded to a web hosting service, you can type in the URL here as well. I'm going to validate by direct input. So I'm just going to copy my code and paste it. Click check. And it's going to tell me that the check was completed, no errors were found. Now I'm going to remove some stuff from my code. So I'm going to remove let's say I'm going to leave the last of the HTML off. Common mistake, people get to the end of it and just leave the closing tag. So I'm going to remove this and paste the code in and check. Um, and it's checking the code, and it for some reason works, but it's not correct. It does run this way, but you need to make sure you close these tags. All right, let me take this here. Well, I just do it right here. So in this case, I did get an error because there's no opening paragraph tag, but I do have the end tag. So I want to give you an example of how it can find the errors in this as well. So it's a good idea to go ahead and validate your code. Before you submit it. Now, a couple things on the style. You can have the style of being applied in the head section. You can also apply style directly to the tag. So, for example, if I wanted to apply this in the tag, I could just put it within the tag here. Now, this is not going to do anything because I'm already got it assigned up here. As you see, by changing the attributes, I've removed stuff, changing the styling. Oh, I have save. But you can have the code in the head. You can have the CSS in the inline. You can also have external style sheets, which this chapter does not have. And let's see, I'll try here. Okay, for example, in this one, this is for the 1520 class, but you'll see that you have a JavaScript files in here. Style sheets we attach the same way. It will be linked in the head section. These documents don't have it set up that way. But that's something we can worry about for another time. Just be aware that in the head section of your code, you can have links to other documents as well up here. So you would have a link to an external style sheet. You would have links to JavaScript files, other things like that would apply in here. Now, you'll notice that going back to the title tag, title goes in the head. You see it says puppy petter. This is something that when it's changed, you'll see this updated on the website up here. So that is how the content up here is in place. Is through the title tag. It's very important though. If you open a tag, be sure to close that tag. Keep in mind that HTML documents, they contain your document type, your HTML open and close tag, and every document is going to contain a head section and a body section. The head section, once again, refers to the information the browser is going to read, while the body section is going to show that to the users of the site. Now, when you're ready to submit your assignments, once again, you will go in Put everything in one folder. You need to right click, go to compress to, and compress it as a zip file. Okay, so this is the file that you will upload to Blackboard. And when you go into Blackboard, switch over to a student preview. When you go into Blackboard to submit your file, you'll come into your chapter project, click view instructions, and then you can browse or just drag the file here. So you just drag the folder over, make sure your file is showing here, and then click submit, and then submit again, and it will submit the assignment to myself. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email, and look forward to seeing your websites.